Yeah.
Too bad, you know.
Yeah. What made you decide to come to the United States?
Well, I was working in London, and and I had 3 kids.
Oh, you had gone back to London after you were married. You came back and you were working in the
Oh yeah,
aircraft.
this one was born in London.
Okay, so you went back to London. How after before your children were born? You went.
I was. No, I was in London when she was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Jerry. He's indicating yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the thing was, if you went over to England to work, Peg, and you had a job, and you're working at the job, and it come around Christmas time, and you wanted to go home, and they wouldn't let you go home because if they let you go home, they have to let everybody go home.
Right.
So you had to quit the job. And you quit the job and went home, then you come back, and you had no job. So what I had to do a lot of times, just go around and knock doors until I get a job.
Mm-hmm.
When I get a job, I would ask for a little advance of my pay so I can get a room. I take the first job I got, get a room, and then I'm all set. Now, then the first Sunday I'd go to church. I go to church, come out of church, and look around and see if there's anybody Irish around there. And you'd see all these guys stand there with the navy blue suits and the white shirts and the red ties and the brown shoes. You knew that was the Irish crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, where are you working? Where are you working? And you found out somebody had got a better job than you had. Unless we went and looked for another job.
Very good.
That's what it's called living from day to day. Like.
We call that now. What do we call that? Doing something.
I had to, you know.
Networking. Yes, networking. When you were, did you have a social circle of Irish friends when you lived in England?
In England, no, I didn't. No. I used to go. We had some Welsh friends, and we used to head out what they call a working men's club, and we used to go there on a Saturday night and have a couple of drinks or whatever. You know.
Yeah. So then you decided to come to the States. How did that come about?
Well, I couldn't. I liked where I was in London, but I couldn't get. Nobody wanted kids. Nobody wanted to give rent with kids, like you know. So my sister at home said, you know, if you want to go to the States, I'll give you the fare, one way. My sister Geraldine, God love her. So I went to the States, and I left my family behind me in Ireland, but they followed me anyway, even though I didn't. You know, but
like puppy dogs, huh?
But so my sister Rita was here, you know, and her husband Tom Carl worked in the NP stores, and I got a job in Warner Brothers box shop, and I worked there during the day, and I worked in the NP stores at night. Then I met my brother Tom, who I hadn't seen, like I said, for 17 years. He was now in the army, and I was telling him, you know, how things were. You know, I'm over here now. I'm going to put so much money away every week and get my family out. And Tom says, I'll bring your family out. And he did, just like that.
Wow, that was fabulous.
He was a great guy.
So when did you come? What was the date that you came to the United States?
I came in October 1957.
All right, and how did you get here?
On a TWA.
You flew.
And the sad part about it, I had $8. I had a wallet, and I had $8 in the wallet. And he went to the station. I've got to get a train to Shannon. And you weren't with me. But my wife's brother and my wife's father were there. We were in this bar right outside the station having a few drinks. And they were saying, give us the $8, because they don't money. Like, I said, no, I need this. I'm going out to the States, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I got on the train, and on the way to Shannon, I lost the wallet. So now I got up at Shannon, and I have a dime and a nickel. This is me at Shannon.
Wow.
Couldn't get a drink, dying for it, because I'd been drinking in the bar before I got onto the train, like, you know. Dying for a drink. So we got on the plane, and we had to stop in the Azores to refuel or something, because they were propeller planes. And everybody's off the plane getting a drink, you know. I couldn't do nothing. I was just sitting there. Then the train stopped again at Logan Airport in Boston. And I got up and I got a Coke for a nickel. And I had a dime left going into New York. I get to New York at the Idlewild. And my sister Rita met me with her brother. They're going to take me home. And I said, Rita, I said, I have to tell you something. I have to get a drink. And my brother-in-law said, you're over here to work. You're not over here to drink. I said, Jesus, I just want to drink. This is my introduction to the United States of America.
So that was your first trip, was when you'd made the commitment to come here to live.
Yeah.
And what was your first impression of the United States?
I don't want to tell you that because I think the United States is the most corrupt, immoral country in the world. I think everybody's out to beat you. I think everybody out to beat the old people. I have, what have I got in my eyes there?
Macular degeneration.
Macular degeneration, which I'm legally blind.
Uh-huh.
My sister-in-law in Ireland went to the doctor and she had macular degeneration. She got a pension. Over here you get a bill.
Difference, yeah. Now you came in the fall. You said October, was it?
October, yeah.
So the weather was kind of similar to what it would have been over in Ireland.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
But the winters must have been very cold. Was the winter very cold for you when the winter set in?
Well, I said, first of all, my brother wanted to take me out, and I was only over about 3 or 4 weeks, and it was just like this. The sun was shining outside, and I'm sitting there, and of course, they had the heat. I didn't know about the heat thing. And I thought, it's a beautiful day out there, and I'm going out like with just a shirt on me. And my brother said, you better put a jacket on you. I said, no, it's beautiful out there. Well, I said I almost died with the cold, because I.
Yeah.
But then I learned to, get dressed for the weather.
Yeah.
But I had to walk I never had a car for a long time. I had to keep walking. Because I was used to walking. Everybody walks at home.
Right. So that wasn't too bad. When you came into LaGuardia, did you say? Is that
Idlewild.
Came into Idlewild, okay.
Yeah, it was Idlewild then.
Okay. Yeah. And then your brother, your sister, where did she live?
She lived in Bridgeport.
Oh, so she brought you to Bridgeport then?
Yep.
They drove you
I
down.
stayed with her, yeah.
Okay. And where in Bridgeport did you come to, Jim? Where in Bridgeport?
South End. Off Arundel Avenue.
Oh,
Have you been on Bridgeport?
I do. My grandparents lived on Arundel
Oh,
Avenue.
okay.
Yeah.
It was Cottage Street.
Oh, I know exactly where that is. Yeah.
Cottage.
Yeah,
The next street to the Condrens. Mrs. Condren?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Right, the next-
Alma Condon?
Alma Condren, yeah, I knew her well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my grandmother was right around the corner, the O'Learys on
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, she was right there. I used to be there all the time when I was a kid. So then you got a job here. What kind of a job did you get here?
I got a job in Warner's.
Oh, that's right. You said in the boxes. That's right. All right. And what was your social life here like?
Well, early on it was nothing because we had no money. We had no social life. We got no money. I worked 2 jobs, and of course, my wife couldn't work because the kids were small.
How long were you here before your wife came over?
Less than a year. I came over in October. They came over the following June.
That's nice.
But that was only because my brother was around
to help you.
To help me out.
Yeah. And how many children did you have then?
I had 3 girls and my son who died last year.
And they were all born. You were all born in London. They were all born in England.
No, only this one was born in England.
Okay, so it was after your wife came over.
My son was born. My son and daughter were both born in Belfast. My other daughter, she's a nurse up in Hartford.
All right, okay. I was a little mixed up. So no children were born in the United States?
No.
Okay, all right. And your wife came over. How did your wife like it when she got here, Christine? How did Christine like it when she got here?
Well, she didn't know anything. She was very naive. The first week she was here, and we were living down in the South End. I can't remember the name of the street, but anyway.
Hancock.
I was working, what?
Hancock Avenue.
Hancock Avenue, right. And I was working nights, and she was only over like about a week. And I came in from work that night and she had all these magazines sitting there, and I said, what's all this stuff? He said, oh, this is a guy come in and he wanted to sell me these magazines, He said, but he's coming back tomorrow. Well, I said, I can't afford magazines. They were just over, and I had, So the next day, the two guys came in the house, and they said, "But the magazine." I said, "Well, I can't afford any of this stuff because, my wife's just over, and I've got 3 little kids now." And he said, "Your wife signed, and you're going to pay." And for 3 years, I had to pay for those magazines. That wouldn't happen today because you get 30 days now.
Right, yes.
But at that time you didn't. And I was stuck for 3 years. And I was only out and I had no money.
Yeah.
I had 3 years I had to pay for these magazines. So you want my impression of the United States?
Yeah, people are out after you.
Yeah.
So you didn't come feeling like you had run into the land of opportunity.
No. And I'll tell you something. Were you born in this country?
Yes.
Yeah. You have to be born in another country and be like an adult and come over to this country with a different perspective of the country. Because people are born in this country are told this is the greatest country in the world. Everybody will tell you that.
Sure, yeah.
Greatest country in the world. A lot of opportunity. Nobody goes hungry in this country, But if you come from another country and look around,
You can see it differently.
you'll see it different.
Yeah,
Of course you will.
Yeah.
There's so many things that they get. They talk about medical assistance in the other countries. They've got great stuff over there. I mean, terrific. Honest to God.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And they can do it. They can afford to do it, but we can't afford to do it over here.
Yeah.
We have people over here who are not insured at all,
Yeah. Did you ever become a citizen here, Jim?
Yes, I did. And the only reason I did, and my son never did become a citizen. He died an Irishman. And the reason I did become a citizen, Peg, was because when Newt Gingrich at one time was at the top of his thing, he was going to do a number on all the immigrants. If they weren't citizens, they were going to deny this and deny that. So I became a citizen. In fact, the guy said, "How come you become a citizen now?" I said, not because they want to become a citizen, because for beneficial reasons to myself and my wife.
Yeah.
That was the only reason.
To take care of your
Yeah,
family.
exactly, yeah.
I understand. Did you have any problems with getting jobs here? Was there any form of discrimination? Did you feel like you
In this country?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Well, I only had the one job. I worked 29 years for Warner Brothers.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was down on Myrtle Avenue, or down in that area?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And my sister worked for the the courses part of.
Okay. Yeah.
And she asked this girl, this personnel girl, I just come over and said, "Well, bring him down for an interview." So she brought me down, and you wouldn't believe I had to go through all the examinations, all the mechanical tests and all I had to take, But finally I got the job. And about 3 weeks later, my sister went down to see this girl and said, "I want to thank you for giving my brother this job, She said, "We didn't give your brother the job." She said, "He had something we wanted. That's why we hired him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was a good reason.
Yeah.
And you worked there. That was your career then. You were there.
That was my whole, Well, for about a year and a half after I retired, I did school crossing guard.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. With the children.
Yeah.
I bet that was fun.
It's fun if people, if the cars would stop, it was fun.
Did you get back to Ireland very often?
Oh, all the time. Probably 4 times in the last 5 years, I would say.
This time, when the children were young, did you go? When the children were young?
No, not when the children were young. The first time you went home was
10 years after we got
Huh?
home. 10 years after we came.
10 years after. You were home before I went, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been home. I was home last year for a wedding in Belfast. Jerry and I were. And I was home with
Amy.
Amy.
Yeah.
And my son, Richard, before he knew he was going to have this cancer, took his whole family home. Took his son, his daughter, his son's wife, his daughter's boyfriend, everybody, all over to Ireland. To Belfast, down south, went on a tour around Ireland.
That was lovely. It was a wonderful memory.
He had no idea what was going to happen to
No,
him. Absolutely no idea.
Yeah. When you have gone back, have you done the west of Ireland? Have you gone into the Republic of Ireland?
When I get home, I get as far as the nearest bar. No, they all went over. I didn't go all over the country. I'm getting too old for that, shopping around like that.
Had you ever at any time gone and seen the Republic of Ireland?
I went to Donegal, and I went to Sligo, and different places like
Yeah.
that. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
I went to a lot of the races, like, you know. I like to go to the races.
Yeah. Okay. And when you go back, what kind of changes do you see in Ireland from when you were growing up there?
What time of change do I see now?
Yes, in Belfast.
The change I see now, Peggy, is I wish I had never left, because Ireland is prosperous.
It is.
Everybody's in Ireland is doing very well. Everybody, the south and the north. All the people in the south, my wife's people, all have their own homes, all doing well. And the same in the north, all doing very well.
Yeah, yeah. So you're one of those people that would say, yes, if I had the opportunity, I would go back and live back there.
Well, it's hard to say, because I'd miss
Your family, yeah.
I'd miss this one here.
Yes, yes.
No, I would miss my family.
Yeah. That would be a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
But Ireland certainly has turned around. That's for sure.
But Ireland has greatly changed over the years. Ireland is prosperous. They really are.
Yeah. Yep. And do you think, Jim, that that this peace process that is in place now is going to be successful? Is the peace prospect for peacefulness now, do you think?
You mean from Belfast?
But for Ireland, do you think that it's going to become a peaceful country, that everybody's going to be all right now?
If you think, you mean that Ireland's going to be a unified country? Mm-hmm. I doubt it. There's too much politics involved there. It pays a lot of people to keep this thing going.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people, otherwise they would be out of a job, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
There were times when I was younger, and there were a lot of troubles in Ireland, and they would get together and they would get almost close to having some kind of an accord, a peace accord, and then there'd be a cop shot at the Falls Road or on the Shank.
All gone. Yeah.
All over, yeah. I think it's manoeuvred, I think, sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm. When you were here, how did you get to the Gaelic American Club? What brought you here?
What brought me? Well, first of all, my sister, and then I wanted to get these kids into the Irish dancing. How can I call you a kid? These kids, and my two daughters and my son,